The decomposing body of a man was found in Salt River, Clarendon, Tuesday morning, the 24th of October 2023. The police said the body is believed to be that of Merrick, Aries, a 43-year-old resident of 46 Paddington Terrace in Kingston. According to the police, the partially decomposed body was discovered in bushes in Salt River about 9:30 a.m. The body had what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head and upper body. The police said they were summoned to the location by residents who made the gruesome discovery. Upon the cops' arrival, the body was seen on its back, clad in a white t-shirt, white underpants, blue jeans, and white sneakers. The deceased's pants were halfway down and his belt undone. A grey Honda motor vehicle was parked beside the body. Checks revealed that the car is the property of a car rental company with branches in Kingston, St. Anne, and St. James. The police said items were found in the car that could assist them with their investigation. Preliminary investigations have revealed that the vehicle was rented in St. James last Saturday and was supposed to be returned on October the 30th. Based on their assessment of the scene, the police theorizes that Aries may have been lured to the area and was robbed of his belongings. The court has barred short-term rental operation from a gated residential community. A row over the operation of an Airbnb in a gated community in Old Pasture, St. Andrew, which has been described as a nuisance by a resident, was being operated in breach of the rules governing properties in the area, has been settled by the Supreme Court. The judgment, an attorney involved in the matter has argued, could impact similar operation in residential settings everywhere, ruling on an injunction sought by a citizen against the owners of the Scotland Drive property in College Green last week. The court declared that the activities of the occupiers who are deemed short-term leases or tenants constitute a nuisance and are in breach of the restrictive covenants on the certificate of title for the property, which state that it should be used for residential purposes only. The court further barred the owners or agent acting on their behalf from allowing their properties to be used for short-term occupancies, license or tenancy for the purpose of a trade or business, and from permitting their said property to be used in such a manner as to amount to a nuisance. Additionally, the court refused to grant the offending property owners leave to appeal, and in an appealant notice to the owners, warned that failure to comply with the terms of the order constitutes contempt for which they may be liable to be imprisoned or to have their asset confiscated. The ruling capped the discontent which has been simmering between the absentee owners of the property, which consists of a townhouse and an apartment, and owners in the area for several months now. In the matter, which was brought to trial in May this year, the court was told that a husband and wife had to move out of their own home for several months because of the disturbances from the offending address. According to the complainant, the almost constant flow of strangers who are rowdy in appearance and behavior have brought pure grief and stress, and a life lived in fear in not knowing who will be the next occupant. Further aggravation came from the improper disposal of garbage and the parkings of vehicles by the renters, invariably blocking anywhere they feel like, and blocking the access of residents to their own homes. The suit outlined that sometime in July 2021, the Citizens Association had engaged a law firm to write to the property owners who do not live at the premises, threatening to sue if they did not take steps to prevent it from being used in such manner. It said the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation had also visited the property and issued a cease and desist order According to court documents, the disturbance ceased for a few weeks but resumed. It further disclosed that on January 2022, meeting between the Citizens Association and the property owners saw another short truce before a fresh set of renters arrived and did the same thing all over again. And the same nuisance and acts of nuisance and disturbance continued. The certificates of titles for all the lots in College Green are endorsed with restrictive covenants, which prohibit the house from being used for purposes other than what is solely residential, and also prohibit them from being used for a business purpose. Further, the certificates of title of all the owners show that the owners are entitled to enforce these covenants against each other. Owners upon acquiring their properties were told by the Citizens Association that there should be no Airbnb in the complex, and this was agreed, the court was told. On Monday, attorney John Givens, who represented the citizen who sought the injunction, said the judgment might have implications for other such operations in similar settings. I think that you might very well find cases where the covenants are similar, because the idea behind the covenant is that the property should be used for long-term purposes. The essence of the whole thing is that businesses are being operated on the premises, the business being short-term letting. The court held that the covenant being properly instrued means that the owner should not rent the property on short-term lettings. The court found that to do so amounts to business. It might have long-term far-reaching implications to the extent that if covenants arise similar to my clients and the defendants, maybe it would mean that to rent a property to Airbnb occupants in cases where the covenant say this should not be, then that would run afoul of the covenant, Givens said. The covenant said the property should be used as private residence, and the court said people renting for Airbnb are not long-term residents. Residents suggest privacy, occupying it as your normal place of abode, so it might have implications, he added. This is an interesting case, as more and more regular families are finding it hard to get residents to rent long-term. As more and more homeowners all across Jamaica are turning their homes into Airbnbs to get the bigger bucks quickly. And that now comes with a lot of challenges, as these units are much easier to get, as all kinds of characters are renting them, as they come with all amenities. All they need is their clothes, as they can run in and run out, and many criminals with access to big money are accessing these communities and are now mixing with legitimately hard-working neighbors, which is also very dangerous, as they generally also come with some unscrupulous crowd. Even some of the Afro-Americans are boisterous and rude and nasty, and it's even proving a challenge to deal with those ones. I know of someone that got into the Airbnb, and because of their outrageous behavior, she spoke with them. You know what they did? Cut up the mattress, break the toilet's face basin and glass, and that is after threatening her. Can you imagine how traumatized she was, as she thought Airbnb is the way to go for her retirement pension? It was dangerous situation, as she lived in one section of the house. This case is going to be landmarked, because it is going to change a lot of lives pertaining to the Airbnb sector. All I can say is life is just crazy. It no matter what you try. It's like once you have to deal with people, you have to constantly be expecting the unexpected. Because I noticed that people, when them have them money and them spending it loudly, meaning them spending big bucks, a lot of them, it get to them head and them feel like so them can treat people and deal with people anyway. No respect for people's space and time. Because they go rent these places on short-term rental and they end up pulling up one whole community with them outrageous attitudes and dark mentality. That's why when Chronic said, or is it what Chronic's law, said in rather than on a hillside with pair goat and cow and pig for talk to, because trust are less problem. You think a joke?